Jack Lanning from Knoxville, Tennessee. I have a question which may not be appropriate for the officers of Berkshire to answer, but I think I'll ask it anyway. You focused on intrinsic value in your annual report, and you suggested that by reviewing the gray pages in the back that one could possibly come up with a value of intrinsic value for Berkshire. I've made an effort to do this, and I think I come up with a price-to-earnings ratio of somewhere around 21, which seems to be a little overvalued. I'd like to ask you, Mr. Buffett, if you would care to divulge what you believe is the intrinsic value of Berkshire, and if you're not willing to do that, do you consider the price of Berkshire at this level to be fair?
Yeah, every year I get asked that in one form or another, and I always say that I don't want to spoil the fun for those of you who are working out the intrinsic value for yourself. You have all the numbers that we have that are key to it, and I would say that that there's some important factors besides PE. I mentioned earlier that I thought that the page where we describe float, for example, is probably as important a page as there is in the report. And then the question is, what do you do with the capital as you allocate it over time? And obviously that makes a difference in intrinsic value too. But I would say in a general way that and this has been true virtually all of the time, that I think I would say that the intrinsic value of Berkshire in relation to I'll put it the other way, the price of Berkshire in relation to its intrinsic value, I think probably offers as much value or more than the majority of stocks that I see. But I don't want to go any further than that. Charlie?
I've got nothing to add. Your story about the fun of working it out, there was a famous English headmaster who used to say to each graduating class, he said, say 5% of you are going to become criminals. And I know just who you are, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to deprive your lives of a sense of excitement. And
we'll explain that later on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to there's more to intrinsic value, as we've discussed earlier, than just adding up what you think you can sell the pieces for at any given time, because it is a prospective figure. It is future cash discounted back to the present, and capital allocation is a good part of that. What you expect the float to do, for example, over time, would lead to a large swing in possible numbers relative to value. I mean, if when we bought National Indemnity in 1967, when it had whatever it had, 15 or 20 million in float, we didn't see it then, but if we could have foreseen the eventual development of float over time, it might have turned out that the intrinsic value of National Indemnity was many multiples of what most people might have thought at the time, or probably what we thought at the time. Zone 1.